Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Hope that you guys have been doing good. So, I wetted the paper, the top half of the paper. Uh, I didn't drench it, but I wetted it. And I'm putting in some cerulean blue here. I'm using three blues in this painting: cerulean blue, ultramarine blue, and a Prussian blue. I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna paint some people walking, going on a hike in the mountains. And uh, the skies are very important. They really are. They create atmosphere, everything. And I was just kind of fooling around with this. This is fast and loose. So after the cerulean blue, put in some yellow ochre here. And as watercolor, if you're not familiar with it, you put it on your paper. It fades when it dries. So sometimes if you're only doing one wash, then you might want to put it on thick. So the red I'm using here is rose. It's called rose. It's not crimson or anything. So to make the sky a little bit more interesting, I'm blending it over the cerulean blue to get these purplish, almost grayish type of colors. And then I'll take a napkin there and I'll just kind of gently come across it just to kind of smooth some of the edges out and lift some of the paint. The other red I'm using in here is burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is more of an earth tone. And it wasn't exactly the prettiest sky you've ever seen. But, I just wanted to get something in there real quick. It could have kept it simple and just very gently, a very diluted blue or diluted red or very diluted, and just kept it simple. But hey, it's watercolor and let's have fun with it, right? So now I'm using some yellow ochre here, and this time I grabbed my medium Ron Ranson Hake brush, and so I'm drawing landmass here, and using two yellows in here, and yellow ochre is more of an earth tone, right? So now what I'm dabbing in here on the left here is the Prussian blue, and I'm just coming here and I'm framing everything out. Now there's some burnt sienna, okay, and then putting in, just kind of giving little shapes here and there, because we're going to sculpt it. We're going to sculpt everything. So right away with my card, it's not too wet, so that's why I'm able to scrape in these rocks or these boulders. They're supposed to be boulders, right? I wanted a cliff there. I wanted it to be a cliff. And coming back, more Prussian blue on this side here. And so what I'm doing is I'll dip my brush in the water, and then I'll dab it out in a napkin. So this is the ultramarine blue, and that's going to be the distant mountain range. And we're gonna put a lake in here too. So with a fan brush, I've kind of tried lifting it. You can lift it easily if you take your time, but I was doing this fast. So I just took a napkin. Okay, that's where I want my lake. Okay. And then I'm like, okay, so this mountain range, I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna to it. I am using burnt umber too, and with a touch of raw umber in this painting. So I really like these fan brushes because and yeah, I'm just drying it off. And so lifting the paint. So these fan brushes do a lot of things. They don't hold a lot of paint, but they can hold a glob of paint, but they don't hold any water hardly. So in the back there, I'm putting in my ultramarine blue and just kind of pushing it in there with the yellow ochre. Want it to be looking for a little bit of distance here, right? So, and I was like, okay, let's bring this down. Let's create some, reflections off this lake here. And you'll see how this works here. So, a little bit more ultramarine blue. And let's bring it down, swoop it across here. Okay, so with the card, and it's very wet. So when it's very wet, you'll have problems really scraping with the card. And I wanted it to be a very thin water line there, but not that thin. Okay, so over here, I'm using the raw umber on this side, kind of in between the up front mountain slope and that mountain range that I'm going over with now. And I'm just randomly going back and forth. I wanted something in between there. So I was like, okay. As I'm pushing it into the yellow ochre, it's lightening it up, which I like. So you're getting some sun on top of the mountain. So I'm coming back over here with the Prussian blue, which is a darker blue. And I'm like, okay, now let's make some trees and let's make them pop. Because this side is up close, right? The left side is going to be up close. So with some pale yellow, you can use lemon yellow, or you can make these fall trees. You can make any kind of trees you want. I just decided to do a summer scene. And just leaving some of the dark inside of these trees so that these highlights come out even more brighter. And it gives the tree a whole different, these trees, whole different, it gives it character. You're creating a bunch of trees. Okay, so now I'm pushing it in the back there. And I'm not wanting it to stick out so much, like defined, like with the leaves out on the tree on the left side. So I'm using ultramarine at the bottom here. And again, I'm doing the same thing. I'm pushing in some of this pale yellow. And because it's more closer up, even though it's like further down, almost coming up to the top of this little path here. So it is up front. It just, And then I took some sap green, regular sap green from the tube, and I just kind of gently was going through some of these boulders. So we have the scene basically set up, right? So now, looking, green and red are complementary colors, and So, you know, I mean, but I also wanted these people to stick out, but I didn't want them to stick out. Like, we're looking at the scene from a distance, a great distance, right? So I didn't want them to stick out that much. I just wanted them to be noticeable. So I was using the permanent rose and ultramarine and a little bit of yellow ochre in there, and I'm using a short tipped rigger brush or a liner brush, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of, you know, like Frank Clark used to say, um, oh, was it Frank Clark? I'm sorry, my tongue is tied. Um, One of the great masters. You paint your people, uh, look at them like carrots, you know, carrot shaped. So I decided to put a little bit of white in the back. I'm like, okay, let's just at least, you know, let's not cover this lake with white, but let's get a little bit on there for the shoreline. And so then I was like, how about some white birds, maybe some seagulls or something like that? And I'm like, okay, so we'll put some in the sky here. Put one right in front of the mountain, right? I mean, it's pretty tall. Those are pretty tall mountains, right? So, and then with a little bit of burnt umber, just a few dots, mainly around the head or whatever, or under the wings, and you know. So I let everything dry, and I came back, and I was like, all right, I got to change this. So I went over it with burnt umber here. Nice brown. I just didn't like it. And yeah, I was being fussy here. But you know, you could be fussy and your painting will go on forever and ever and ever. And sometimes, and if you're having fun, that's okay. As long as you're not getting frustrated. I wasn't frustrated. I was just having fun. And I was like, you know, I mean, it's fast and loose. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to sell it to no one, obviously. So I decided to go ahead and try to redo the boulders. Of course, I didn't press hard enough to get to the white on the paper. So then I was like, okay, let's take some yellow ochre and let's make a little area right there to show that there is another level in here, in this painting. And that's what I did. Lift up the paint, and there's the bottom level. Below that, a little cliff, that path. Anyways, I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you guys have, you know, if you paint, I hope that your paintings are going good. And, you know, if you enjoy my videos and paintings, please come back and subscribe. Sincerely yours,